In this video, I'm gonna tell you what you really need to know about which iPhone 12 to buy. Let's do this. Now, I've been watching several videos for some really good channels telling you not to make a mistake when you're buying your new iPhone, or you should look at this one or look at that one. However, when I got into the videos, most of the time it was just a list of specs that most of us have no clue what they even mean. Look, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I have to look up some of these things just so I can see if the changes they made really make that much of a difference for the price. So what I want to cover today is what most people will likely need if they're in the market for a new iPhone 12. I am going to go between two phones in each example because most people are really debating which of these phones they're going to buy, and I hope it can help you make a decision. Let's get started with the iPhone 12 and the 12 Pro since they're out right now and you can buy them. The iPhone 12 is $799 for 64 gigs, and the iPhone 12 Pro is $999 for 128 gigs. Okay, so if this is you, I need to know something first. Do you know how much storage your current phone has and how much you've used? If you need to look this up, go ahead and pause the video and check. Because if storage is that important to you, then people aren't giving you the right information to even start. Now, if you're well below 64 gigs, then you're okay, obviously. It's a $50 difference on the iPhone 12 to bump up to the 128. So now we're at the iPhone 12 at $849 for 128 gigs, and the iPhone 12 Pro at $999 for 128 gigs. Next, let's go ahead and look at the similarities between these phones. Both use the same chip, so your user experience should be about the same. They are the exact same size and have the exact same screen technology, with one little difference, which I'll talk about in a moment. They both have Face ID. In the US, they're both 5G capable, which in my opinion is only important if you're keeping this phone for many years. Honestly, I don't think you're going to see the benefit for 5G for many years. Both have great wide, ultra wide, and a front camera for pictures. Both do 4K and 1080p video. Lots of low light and night mode features. Both have advanced video recording options available for a little more serious usage. Of course, if you want to dive into that camera and video specs, I'll leave a link in the description to Apple's website, which has a really neat tool to really compare the two side by side. They both share the exact same battery size, which I do want to add is smaller than last year's 11 Pro, but I'm going to hold any judgment until I actually have these in my hands and see how the usage goes. Both have wireless charging, also implementing Apple's new MagSafe technology, which you do need to buy that charger separate for to experience the magnets. But regular wireless chargers will still work if you don't care to pick any of that up. Now for the differences. So let me preface this by saying that I do not have these phones just yet. So if any of these differences are something you truly care about, I would wait till the items are released and you can check out my videos to see the differences. So be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notification bell so you don't miss those videos. All right, here we go. Totally on the vanity side, the phones come in different styles of colors. The 12 Pro has super shiny edges that are made from surgical grade steel. Ooh, ah. The 12 uses aerospace grade aluminum. Still, ooh, ah. And these are the colors that they come in. This is all preference and really doesn't help the phone work any better. I could totally understand if you don't want to put a case on this, but I insist you at least use a screen protector and maybe a clear case. Maybe check the description for some of those options. The 12 Pro does have one more lens than the 12, and that's the telephoto variety, which increases your zoom range out about 2 times. So if you think that's worth the $150 price increase and you use it all the time and need something better, then have at it. You're all set. Even if it's the same quality as my 11 Pro Max, I think you're going to be happy. There's also tech called the LiDAR scanner, which improves night mode portraits, faster autofocus in low light, and augmented reality. So once again, if you utilize the camera more than normal, along with that, I defer back to my previous statement. Two more differences, which again, I need to test, is Apple Pro RAW for editing photos and night mode portraits. Now I can see people messing with this when they first get the phone because it's new. And Apple Pro RAW is purely for a serious user. On the video side, there is a little difference with a new feature called HDR video recording with Dolby Vision. Yeah. The 12 does this up to 30 frames per second, but the 12 Pro does it up to 60 frames per second. The easiest way I can explain this is you'll look more like a soap opera on TV with the higher frames per second, and the lower you go, the more it'll look like a movie. Does that make sense? Now, I will say, Apple is certainly making a push to separate these lines of phones with these features. Another thing people never think about when they're buying a phone because they're either in the store or online looking is how bright does the screen get? Now, this is that other thing I said about the display earlier that I would mention. This is that part. Now, I'm not going to throw some pointless stats and say, oh wow, what an increase. That doesn't mean a damn thing. The iPhone 12 in normal use is 625 nits, and the 12 Pro is 800 nits.
Say what?
Exactly. Look, my 11 Pro Max has the same brightness as the 12 Pro stats. Now, this Pixel 5 is 483 nits. That's a 317 nit difference during normal use. I do see just a little difference with them turned all the way up, but they both look good. Now, I don't run my phones all the way up. I do notice a difference when I turn them down when I use them. This is where I need to run the Pixel at 75%, but the iPhone I can run at 50% and still have the same quality. Another place I notice a big difference is outside in the direct sunlight. I don't feel like the Pixel 5 gets bright enough sometimes in some situations. Now, as far as being able to tell the difference between the 12 and the 12 Pro, and honestly, I don't even know if it's going to matter, do you notice a theme here? You're going to have to wait until I get the phone so you can see how that works out. Again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now, for most people, I feel that between these two phones, you would be more than happy with the iPhone 12 and save that $150 so you can spend it on accessories. Not Apple, by the way. I'll go ahead and leave a link for more of those Anchor things that do the better job for less money. Now, for super serious camera users who might do the 12 Pro, stick around between that and the 12 Pro Max before you decide. But first, if you're deciding between the 12 mini and the 12, this one's going to be pretty easy. Both have the same starting storage at 64 gigs. If you skip the first part about the storage, you might want to go back and watch that. The 12 mini comes in at $699. The 12 comes in at $799. If you do need more storage, it's $50 extra to get to the 128 gig. But again, you need to see what's on your phone to see if you actually use 64 gigs and realize how close you are. You might need to bump it up. The next is a personal choice for people. Do you like small phones or not? The 12 mini is about 5.18 inches tall and 2.53 inches wide, with a screen size of 5.4 inches diagonal. The 12 is a little bigger at 5.78 inches tall and 2.82 inches wide, with a screen size of 6.1 inches diagonal. Now, if you still can't decide, go ahead and draw those measurements out on a piece of paper and cut it out and see how it feels. Guess what? Those are the only differences: price and device size. Yep, everything else on these phones is exactly the same. So you only need to pick what you can afford and what you're comfortable holding on to. Next, we have the 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max. Now, I'm going to try to keep this as basic as possible, but we're talking about Pro devices here, and I need to talk about the improvements, and they can get kind of technical. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section, and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, so I honestly feel that if you're at this point, you are serious about spending money, go ahead and get the 12 Pro Max, and that should be your choice. Here's why. I'll begin with the easy stuff. The price. You already know that the 12 Pro starts at $999 for 128 gigs. The 12 Pro Max starts at $1,099, and you get 128 gigs. That's a $100 difference. Now, the 12 Pro is the same size as the 12, 5.78 inches tall, 2.82 inches wide, with a 6.1 inch diagonal screen. The 12 Pro is 6.33 inches tall at 3.07 inches wide, with a 6.7 inch diagonal screen. The 12 Pro Max is a big phone. In fact, it's even a little bigger and wider than the 11 Pro Max, but thinner, if that makes any sense. When it comes to what they both have, I strongly suggest you go ahead and use that link I mentioned earlier. It's still in the description to see what they both really have together. The list is really long. But if you're seriously considering between these two, I just want to cover the major differences. So here we go. Now, the camera specs are listed exactly the same on both phones at first glance, but there are some key differences that in my opinion aren't clearly displayed. First off, on the 12 Pro, the wide lens is at the top of the back of the phone. On the Pro Max, it's been moved to the lower lens. And the 12 Pro Max has an all-new sensor for the wide angle, listing at 47% larger sensor and 87% better low light performance. Now, for people who are serious about their phone photos and video, this is going to be really interesting. I, for one, really want to try these out to see if it really is that much better. So for that, I say wait for the 12 Pro Max, watch my channel to see the differences that I find, and in my opinion, this could be a game changer. Now, the telephoto lens has some differences because it does have a longer zoom out and in. Again, go ahead and refer to the website for the specs. Video-wise, the specs are identical, but on the 12 Pro Max, it's had its stabilization completely rebuilt, and this could have some insane handheld footage improvement for regular videos as well as night mode shooting. So while you wait for me to test those out and post the results, go ahead and check out this playlist right here of all things Apples for this year, and of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You guys take it easy and have a great day.